I think we're live. I'm not sure. The Restream's having some difficulties. We'll see. Let's see if this will kick off here in chat. Okay. Can you hear me at least, guys? Let me know if you can hear me.
I think we're live.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure.
My phone's up. There we go. Volume in the background. Everything. Okay. Let me know in chat if you can hear me and if it looks okay. You can hear me okay? How does my avatar look on the screen? Not all fuzzy. I don't know what's going on with Restream. I tried to set this show up 3 times, and it said it was scheduled, but it wouldn't show up on YouTube. So I had to delete everything and start over. And I don't. Everything else is working okay except for Restream. So I thought it was my computer for a minute. Okay, cool. Thank you, Butterfly. Thank you. Let me pull up chat. All right, we're just going to get into some updates here. We're going to see if we can get the share screen to work properly. Because we are going to get into some case updates and welcome in Butterfly and Rach. We got a few who are watching. Thank you for coming in. It was not really a scheduled live, but there's some things happening that I do want to talk about. Have you guys seen the latest that's happening in the case? We'll go through what we've learned since yesterday. How's everybody's weather doing? Y'all doing okay out there? Pretty decent here. I can't complain. I can't complain today. Shit, we got it. Brian Enton's Twitter is like on fire tonight. Hold on. Why do they have a tow truck arriving at Nancy's house? Okay, we need to get into what's going on, and then we'll go take a look at the Twitter pages. Because we're definitely got to troll his Twitter here in just a few minutes. 80 degrees for you guys today there in Texas. Yeah. Lots of things happening, rage and fast, and you would expect it to in this situation. And I'm beyond. This is a real kidnapping. Honestly, legit, the lady disappeared from her home. Someone took her. It's a kidnapping. Who did it? We don't know. But it appears some of this stuff that's been coming down is legit. Yeah, I've been watching. Okay, the mods found a couple of things today and dropped in Discord as well this evening, and I have found some. Been looking at things as well, so I was like, we got to go. All right, so we know that yesterday, now February 2nd, that first ransom note was received, and that was on Monday evening that the media turned it over to the police. And then on February 4th, that is when, of all people, Annie and her husband get a message from a person claiming to be the kidnapper. Well, that's the guy who turns out to be the imposter, right? He heard all this go down on TV. He knew there was a ransom note, so he's like, huh. So he told investigators he literally pulled their information off of websites and got their phone numbers and texted them through a texting app, right? But the FBI quickly, now think about that, they quickly found that guy. But they have not quickly found who sent the emails, because the guy that got arrested had nothing to do with the ransom emails. He was just some nut job on the internet trying to get his whatever, and he got arrested. His name is Derrick Callella. He's out of Hawthorne, California, and we've got his information as well. They got a thing on the Justice Department about his arrest. So let me pull that up. If we can get this damn screen share to work properly. I don't know the internet should be fine. I think Restream's just having. I've noticed it over the past few weeks, and I've just been trying to deal with it. Because I honestly think I forgot how to use StreamYard. I'm like, wait a minute. If I set up on StreamYard, am I even going to know what I'm doing? I better practice that shit tomorrow for my backup just in case. Okay, let me get to my folder here. And we also saw that Cameron Guthrie also released a statement. Now, here's the thing about that statement. It came out, yesterday? And it was another plea to these would be kidnappers. Today, another message comes in from the alleged kidnappers. Okay, let's show Derrick's. Let me get the screen up here. Welcome in, everybody just joining. Thank you for coming in. Okay, so this was the guy who was charged. They called the imposter at the press conference. Okay, Thursday, February 5th, 2026, the FBI arrested Derrick Callella, a 42-year-old in Hawthorne, California. Callella via a criminal complaint filed in federal court for transmitting a demand for ransom in interstate commerce and without disclosing his identity, utilizing a telecommunications device with the internet to abuse, threaten, or harass a person. The Department of Justice will protect the victims and families at all costs, and grief profiteers will be held accountable. The U.S. Said the U.S. attorney. This case came together in under 24 hours because of the coordinated work of the FBI, local law enforcement, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District Court of California. Now, think about how quick they found this guy who didn't know what he was doing out there on the internet. They can't find people who sent the emails because whoever took her, and if that's real, not Joe Blow off the street criminal. We can forget that little simple-minded thought process, right? Trying to take advantage of profit from this situation, and we will investigate and ensure they are held accountable. And they have his indictment here, the complaint. Slide this over. Okay, so count one on the 4th that they talk about how the defendant, Callella, with the intent to transmit a demand for ransom, did transmit interstate foreign commerce. So the ransom note information came in on the 2nd. I think it was publicized the 3rd, and by the 4th, he's emailing, okay, or text messaging rather. And they also got him for using the phone to call and utilize the communications, okay. And then to the background of Miss Nancy and what happened on February 4th, shortly after the video was published. Now, this was, let me go back up here and get the backstory. Okay. NG, which is Nancy, was last seen inside her residence at the Catalina Foothills community outside Tucson, Arizona on January 31st. Nancy is an 84-year-old woman with mobility issues that likely preclude her from walking long distances unassisted. On the morning of February 1st, a friend of Nancy's contacted the victim's family and notified them that Nancy had not attended church that morning. At approximately noon on February 1, Nancy's family entered her residence and determined that she was missing and reported her disappearance to law enforcement. They say noon here was what, 11:56. They, according to that timeline they released, law enforcement arrived shortly after and determined that Nancy had left basic essentials inside her home, including her wallet, car, cell phone, hearing aid, and medication. And Nancy's blood was found on the outside of her residence near the porch on February 2nd. KOLD, and that's who got the second message, by the way, and we got the time that they got it as well. February 2nd, CBS affiliate LD out of Tucson received a ransom demand via their online tip portal. The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet address to receive the ransom payment. On February 4th, Nancy's family published a video asking the kidnappers to contact them about their mother. On February 4th, shortly after the video was published, and the hell? Can you guys even see me? Hold on. Let me know in chat if you could even hear me, because this thing's gone crazy again. Okay, looks like I'm back. Looks like I'm back. Semi Sharp. No, not Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace is safe. I thought we all had that discussion. She's a tough old cookie. You cannot kidnap Nancy Grace. Hey, California Wings, thanks for coming in. Keeping an open mind is, yeah. I got two possible theories. Do they connect? I'm not sure yet, and I'm sure law enforcement's looking into that very fact. I've taken random robbery off the table. I've taken a random essay situation completely off the table. Those are messy individuals that would leave more evidence behind. Come on, we got an IP address we cannot track by all these high profile investigative teams in town. Come on, man. Come on. That's not a random fella on the internet. That's a sophisticated fella on the internet. Okay, so on February 4th, shortly after the video was published, that's when he messaged Annie and her husband Tom. I just call him Tom. I'm not saying all the rest of his name. And son-in-law of Nancy. Both separately received a text message from the following phone numbers. They both received this message. Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. And they both received that text while in Arizona. They just, well, I hope they were in Arizona. They live there. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the number was associated with a voice over internet protocol, or a VoIP text call application that allows users to obtain another phone number for their mobile device separate from the number assigned to them by their wireless carrier. So, fake number and all. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure request. An emergency disclosure request. Based on the records provided for the 0552 was registered to the following email address, and that was his own email address, and that's how they tie it back right back to this dude. The records also indicated that the number had been accessed from the following IP addresses, and they list those. At approximately 6:02 p.m. on the 4th of February. Okay, so law enforcement submitted that emergency disclosure request to the internet provider. Emergency request to the internet provider. That elusive IP address, we can't figure that out yet. Who got Miss Nancy? After the Miranda warning, Callella admitted to sending two text messages. He admitted to using the VoIP account for which two actual text messages came from. Callella stated that he pulled family information from a cyber website and that he had been following along and watching TV. Now, that he said that, the other day I had a choice to make. Do I put all this information I have out there about Annie and her husband, their faces, their images, they're everywhere, they're about them, or do I not? I chose not. Everybody else is doing enough damage. I'm like, I know enough to step back a moment. But if I need to, we'll go there, right? Because you don't never know who's watching and takes that stuff to the bank. And they're getting pretty picky about what kind of private information we share over here on the YouTubes. Lately, it's got me nervous. Like, I'm making this damn document. I'm not going to put out something accidentally, right? That YouTube's designated as bad. After his warnings were read, so he admitted to doing it. Okay. Callella stated that he pulled the information from the website. He said when he sent the text messages, he was trying to see if the family would respond. Data received shows that approximately 3 minutes after the text messages, he called a family member of Nancy's, which lasted 9 seconds. Oh, Lord, he called them too. What? So there you go. That's what you get. F around and find out, right? F around and find out, crazies. Jeez. Like they don't got enough to deal with in their face. They got the Looney Tunes. Now, I didn't. go back and finish watching this a little while ago because I was getting prepared to come live. Oh, one sec. I need to make a note of this so I don't forget to go back and review it because something was said that really caught my attention. So I was trolling around looking at different information a little while ago, and I go take my information from a lot of different places and resources just to see what's being said here and there, not on the streets per se, but so I went into Megan Kelly, however she says her name. She had a live stream going, and I popped in because I wanted to see who was on her panel. And I don't know the people, and I don't even know what all they were talking about. They were talking about this case, but I happened to pop in at the same time. She mentions a case to do with her and her family, and this elaborate plot by Nigerians who all had a role in this plot against her and her family, and the FBI and all were heavily involved in the situation. So are we not going to consider that kind of thing could happen here? We're talking, come on. I mean, I could take the easy road and say botched robbery, or I could critically think and go, damn, they haven't caught the people who sent that email yet. That's unusual. Highly unusual. Okay. So that's a little bit of background on Mr. Callella and his got to insert myself into the case situation. I think they should get people like that because there's enough of them. They even come out here on the YouTubes and pretend to know an assailant or whatever or a victim and get on YouTube panels and run their mouth, and turns out they didn't know them at all or barely knew them, right? Knew of them. Well, I went to school with my cousin who went to school with them, and they was too. What? What are y'all talking about? I see no salty that sucks. You do you, boo. You're smart. What did I do? I'm so lost. I got to keep up with the conversation. Everything's still plausible. I mean, but for us to sit here and pretend that a sophisticated crime didn't occur here, what? Do y'all watch the news? I quit a long time ago, but I'm not stupid. Yeah, we could have a weirdo who just went in to break in and stole Miss Nancy instead. Or we could have a brother in law who flipped out. I don't know. But my money right now is on these sophisticated Nigerian type individuals who can literally pull this off from multiple places around the fucking world, all at the same time. Coordinated effort. They pulled off. We saw what terrorists can do, y'all. We've seen it. And don't tell me that within 1 hour of receiving this new ransom note, guess what happened? All the investigators were back on the scene, blocking off the entire road and moving every reporter down away from the house. Get out of here. We need room. We're going to go review that. Why would you do that? Within 1 hour of getting that new ransom note, according to KOLD, they got it around 11 o'clock today, their time. 1 hour later on Twitter, everybody's posting about this roads being blocked off, and the investigators are coming back and they're moving the media. What was in that second note? Okay, well, we're going to explore. So let's look at this article that KLOD has on their website. We'll go there first since it starts there. And also, when Cameron put out that video yesterday, remember he was pleading with them again to the kidnappers to reach out. And I guess they decided to today. All right, let me get this pulled up. Right here. This is KOLD. Hold on, guys. I'm looking at my notes at the same time. Sorry, I distracted myself. I was like, wait a minute, what? What? Okay. Oh, hit the wrong button. Sorry. Oh, this is that same station that got the first ransom note. They got the second one. Okay, let me get this pulled up. It's taking its time. It's acting all funny. And we have good internet. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let me get the screen back up now. I'm just waiting. There's a delay. Okay, here we go. If y'all hear me go quiet for a moment, I'm just okay. Now they were going to have a half hour broadcast on their news. I don't know if it's going to be on their YouTube channel, probably not immediately, but I think on their local broadcast, they were supposed to do a half hour special to this evening on Nation. Okay, so they're reporting that Friday, the news received the original message. Okay, that's today. Sorry. Oh, welcome, Kings. Welcome in. Welcome into the. We are hosting our another members only live tomorrow. I'm not positive of the time yet. Probably late afternoon, early evening, somewhere in there. Y'all keep your notifications on and watch out for that. Okay, so Friday, February 6th, news received a new message from someone claiming to be the suspect who allegedly kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. 13 News is not releasing details of that message out of respect for the family, but we did send it to law enforcement immediately. Now, here's what they did note: the IP address used to send Friday's email was not the same one used to send a earlier this week, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their location. So they're bouncing around to different addresses and they're using a secure server to hide their location. The new note, which law enforcement called a message ransom note, contains information um, the sender seems to think will prove to the investigators they are the suspects. Like, here's your proof. Now, I got a little bit more about these, what the context of the originals, according to Harvey Levin. Nancy Guthrie special. Okay, on Friday, that's when they talk about how they're going to air a 30-minute special. It says you can watch it in the player below. And this is on their website, guys. KOLD News 13. If you're something you're interested in. The Pima County Sheriff's Department issued the following statement after 13 News shared the news of the messages on Friday. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are aware of a new message regarding Ms. Guthrie. Investigators are actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity. Hour later, y'all are back at that crime scene talking about everybody get out of here, scatter. We got work to do. And now we hear what was over there. Miss Nancy's car. What are they towing from Miss Nancy's property other than her own vehicle? Huh. When was the last time she drove it? Okay, I'm going to get sidetracked. A letter from the Catalina foothills associated indicated that PCSD and the FBI resumed a search of the properties in the area. Miss Guthrie's home is in we know where it's at. Also on Friday, Senator Mark Kelly showed up at the headquarters. Well, of course, that appearance matters. We understand that y'all are in support of finding Miss Nancy. Good Lord. And then they go into a pretty good detailed list here of the facts. A lot of that right there we know. Did have something new. Well, not I don't know if it's new, but it caught my eye because it wasn't on like, where did it go? Okay. So they go through what we do know, the timeline of when she got dropped off, the doorbell camera going offline, her pacemaker going offline with the device that records all the information. So noon, she fails for church. Okay, so 6 p.m. on Sunday the 1st, that's when the first missing persons flyer was sent out. At 8:30 on Sunday, they host its first of several news conferences. So Monday comes around 6:40 on February 2nd. News and other media outlets received a possible ransom note. Now, wasn't Monday the same day they released the scene? So that was on the 2nd. On Monday, Nancy's missing on Sunday. They turned over the email to law enforcement immediately. So within 24 hours or so, we had a ransom note. On Tuesday, the 3rd, Savannah Guthrie pulled out of the Winter Olympics coverage. Of course she did. Nobody can blame her for that one. It's ridiculous they even. I think that's a whole weird conversation to even have. Go work your ass off and die doing it. And don't look back. And don't ever ask for time off. How dare you? Good old American way. On Wednesday, February 4, President Donald Trump issued a statement and said he had spoken with the family's victims. The California man was arrested around 11. See, they say it was around 11:30 Friday the 6th when they received that new message. So that was at 11:30. Within an hour of that, as I went back and checked, that's when people were posting on Twitter about this road being blocked off now and the investigators were returning. What? And they wanted to prove that they were the actual kidnappers? On Thursday the 5th, Nancy's son, Cameron, released a statement on behalf of the family for whoever took their mom to reach out to them. It was posted on Instagram. It was on Savannah's Instagram. I was looking at her Instagram last night. She had another post of it. It just said, "Please pray." I was like, man, I don't know if this will let me play it, guys. Let's see. Or Bobo, whatever is going on here today with this internet. I think my P may be having a little too much activity stored on it. Maybe I need to do a cleanup. Well, it's not going to let me play it from here, so we can watch it on the video itself on the news clips I got.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother,
Oh,
we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
okay. The Department of Justice announced the arrest of Derrick Callella and so on. Okay, thank you, Rachel. I noticed she's just dropped the link to that particular article. Thank you for that. I appreciate my mods so much. Yes, California. We're gonna try to look at some of Brian's stuff. If for some reason my internet, I think it's restream. I don't know what's going on with this situation, but if I can't play these things, I'm gonna tell you guys where to go view everything. Um, we're gonna just move through what I do have here. So that, like I said, I noticed within an hour they were doing that. So let's go see if I can pull up the X. Now, if internet's working shitty, the two indicators are X coming up crappy and restream. If them two don't want to pull up like they're supposed to, something's not right. And look, X is not wanting to come up. We can go troll his YouTube and see if it happens, if it's okay. All right, here it comes. It's just being slow. Y'all bear with me. I'm not in no hurry. I'm having coffee. Okay. So we're also hearing reports now. So I did see that, and I remembered because I'm just now seeing another report here on the X So apparently, a spokesperson for a local Circle K is telling people that investigators were there looking for footage for a car of interest, vehicle of interest. Now, remember, we've had one towing already of Annie Guthrie's car. They claimed it was routine. And now we got a tow truck on site at Nancy's. What is going on here? What is going on? Okay, let's get Brian pulled up. Our go-to. Y'all help me. Help me get him over here to talk to us. Tell him he'll love our community. Okay. I want to get down to the tweets, not these ad thingies. Okay. So he reported 29 minutes ago. Let me get the screen up here. Let's see if it'll work. Okay. California, she says, you've been so thorough through all of this. Thank you. I am trying. Thank you for that, because it's like, this is a lot, right? And so the minute it started happening, I dove in and we haven't stopped. So I did want to come live and get you guys caught up on the latest because it is such a fast moving case. Okay, so 29 minutes ago, Brian reports that a tow truck just arrived at Nancy's. They're keeping me back at the end of the block, but I'll see what is happening when it pulls out. You know, Brian's out there with their camera. He's got his camera crew with him. Y'all got that big long zoom lens, Bri? We're counting on it, man. And of course, they'll be at the end of the street. He's probably positioned theirself so when the tow truck leaves, it had whatever route it has to take. They're going to be there to capture the video of it. Go, Brian. Okay. What is this? An hour ago, Brian reports that President spoke on Air Force One about Nancy Guthrie investigation. Says some things I think will maybe come out reasonably soon. Never mind. We just get word salad. We know. We already know. I don't need him to tell me. All right. New note did not offer proof of life. That was 2 hours ago. So it didn't prove proof of life, but they wanted to make it clear they're the same people that sent the original ransom note. The new note did not have any new ransom demands or provide a way for the Guthrie family to communicate with the sender, according to KOLD news director. That was 2 hours ago. 3 hours ago, the second note went to KOLD TV station. Of course, we went through what they say about the IP address being different. He said the new note contains something the senders seem to think will prove to investigators they're the same people who sent the first note. Now, again, 3 hours ago. So, what about that? You went back. Did they describe something in their note about something at the house? They're like, damn, we got to go look at that. I think these top-notch investigators, like I'm talking FBI, CIA, ICAC, all these people, they want these people. You gonna do what? Hide your IP address? What kind of Brian Koberger shit is that? I think they're a bit more sophisticated than old Brian Koberger. Hell, even he had shit on his phone that he wiped that celebrate who the FBI asked to come in and help because they couldn't figure it out. She couldn't figure it out. Brian Koberger. Are we going to pretend we don't got some foreign players here that may be smart as hell? Right now, investigators are back at Nancy Guthrie's house. They are closing down the road and moving all media out for investigative purposes 4 hours ago. And there they are. They're all hustling around and scrambling. We got somebody running down the street. Okay. 5 hours ago, breaking, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. Investigators are actively inspecting that for information. Okay, now if you go and then it skip back to 12 hours. So we're gonna, I think that Pima County release a statement about that second note. Give it a minute, she'll catch up. The sleepy internet, I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. What happened? Yeah, try again. Okay, so this was 4 hours ago, 1 hour after Brian's post. Investigators are conducting follow up at the Guthrie home and the surrounding areas. The roadway in front of the home is currently restricted to provide investigators space. Camino Escalante is restricted from Carradinanopal to East Camino Ganado. There's a construction site near this area. I stumbled across a forum today talking about this case. I was like, whoa, what? And I took some notes. So here's their statement. Statement on Nancy Guthrie. This was 5 hours ago. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. Investigators are actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity. While this is one new piece of information, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are still asking anyone with tips to contact the FBI to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. The FBI continues to offer a reward of $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie. Now, originally we had a $2,500 reward, but the minute kidnapping got put on the table, FBI steps up with a $50,000 reward. They're taking it seriously. Okay, so that. Okay, so we got some things to look at on YouTube. Let me take a moment to catch up on chat here. Welcome in, everybody listening. Thanks for coming in. If y'all don't mind, hit the thumbs up and all the YouTubey things. Let us know in chat where you're listening from and join the conversation. Get your coffee, your tea, whatever your vice might be. I'm halfway through a cup of coffee. I need to top up soon. I took an afternoon nap, which is rare for me. Like I was just like, I was up for a while. I was getting my updates, chit-chatting with the mods were about updates, and I don't even know if I was online a lot this afternoon earlier, but I got tired. So I just like, I'm going to lay down for a minute, and I turned something on to listen to it, and I don't even think I listened. Next thing I know, I was waking up a while later going, "Oh heck. Nice nap. I must have needed it." Semi Sharp, yes. Prayers up for Miss Nancy. Man, she's kind of stole our hearts and we don't even know her, right? Don't even know. I hope she can feel everybody's vibes, that we're sending out to her. Because at the heart of all of it, right, there's a missing lady who needs to be found. She doesn't deserve whatever this is. Using her for monetary gain potentially. It's so sad. Yeah, something brought them back. Did the perpetrator hide something in the yard to prove? Oh, to prove later? Hey, if y'all go back and look under bush B back by the pool, there'll be a little something something left there for you. That way you'll know it's me, that I'm not AI. Okay, butterfly, is that what that was? Something. Okay, let me see what I got here. How did I miss that on his feed a minute ago? Brian got video of them towing that car. And we're going to take a look at this stuff that Harvey said about the original ransom note that made me really go, oh, damn. Sophisticated son of a bitches. Okay. I'm almost hoping that it is that situation because that type of, they would probably keep Miss Nancy alive. And if we're going to go there and think a sophisticated group has Miss Nancy, don't think they didn't have ways to get her medication once they got her. What do you need, Miss Nancy? Y'all don't, y'all have heard of the black market and doctors, right? They're willing to take that big envelope full of cash to get you what you need. I'm not going to think those people don't exist. Okay. They got human organs on the black market, for God's sake. What's getting you some pills, Shit. 19 ago. No wonder. Thank you, Butterfly. They are towing away what appears to be the car that was in Nancy Guthrie's garage. Do we have sound?
So they just towed the car. So we have this shot. Mo got this shot, and you can see. Where's the tow truck? Is that SUV? Right there. Point to it. Okay, you can see the SUV on it. So Mo had a closer look when it was there a second ago, and he says it's the same SUV that was in the garage, and you can tell that it was blue. Remember Mo got this shot with his drone. So anyway, I know it's blurry, but that's the tow truck leaving. This is the scene of her right now. He got moved back and they closed the whole area like I was showing you earlier. And FBI is still out there at Nancy Guthrie's house.
Wild.
We're all just kind of back here.
That's wild. Now, we've heard conflicting reports. Butterfly, I do have that, what you just sent me, and we have that saved on our playlist. We've heard conflicting reports about her driving, not driving. Now, why would people from church call and say she didn't come to church? No one's suggesting she didn't come to the door for her ride that morning. That would have set the alarm bells off. It was she didn't come to church. So how do we think Miss Nancy normally gets to church? Does she normally drive herself? Either way, that's her car. Now they're taking that. That was tonight, Happy. So they got a second ransom note today, or another communication from the would-be kidnappers today to the local news affiliate. They turned that over to the police. Within an hour or so, they're back at this house, closing down the street, making all of the media push back to the intersection, right? And said the investigators had to have room to do their work. And now they're there just a few minutes ago towing Miss Nancy's car away. So all of this is real time happening that we're reporting on tonight. That's why we went ahead and came live, because there was a lot happening even this evening, right? So moving forward now, that's where we're at. A second ransom or second communication came down today around 11:30. What did I say? From KOLD. They give it to the police. It's simply a letter stating we are who we say we are, and here's some kind of proof about that. And then a little while later, they're back at the scene, moving everybody away. Oh, and the arrest also came down yesterday of Callella for impersonating the would-be kidnappers. He had nothing to do with the actual ransom notes that came in originally. He was just some fake ass on the internet. Lord help us all with these types. You never know. Then and you got to think about this. Those types come into our chats. That's why we try to be super careful around here, and we're welcoming to people. But if you're coming in with crazy, bizarre, it's like, what? Stop distracting us grown-ups from having conversations, right? So, Kentucky, welcome in. You say, I don't ever know if I should approach you, man, woman, whatever y'all prefer. So it's Kentucky Lucky. All right. So they taken what we think is Nancy's car just now. Yes. It was said she does online church. It's all conflicting. I've heard that I heard a blurb about that as well, that during the pandemic she began to do that, but is she still doing that? Right? Sounds to me like she went to church, otherwise people at church wouldn't have become alarmed when she didn't come to church. So my money's on the church people at this point, right? That's how I kind of decipher a lot of that stuff I'm hearing. Because how does anybody know? Do they know Miss Nancy? Are they her grandbaby? They live next door and help her out from time to time. Their mama know her. Y'all know what I'm saying. So the church people are the ones that called the family and said Nancy didn't come to church. That tells me Nancy gets to church on her own and she physically attends church, at least today. Otherwise, they wouldn't have called with an alarming situation. They would have assumed Miss Nancy was at home watching in the comfort of her home, safe and sound. Or that's how I think anyway. There's a lot of people with a lot of theories out there, you know what I mean? And apparently a lot of sources too. Ooh. And the only way for that theory to work, these alleged sources told Banfield about, is for him to fake a kidnapping as a hoax to take the view off of him. But then I got to go with watch disconnects at 2 in the morning and the camera disconnects at 1 something. He drops her off at 9 something. Would he go back? Phone data can't see. What about the phone of that person? What does it tell me he did all night long? There's a lot of questions about that source of information pointing fingers at the brother-in-law. It feels more viable that this is a real, because if it was a hoax, say the real perpetrator did all this to as a hoax to get the trail off of them, are they going to be sophisticated enough to be able to hide it for this long? Well, Callella wasn't. I doubt this person would be as well. So that, I don't know. Thought process, right? Okay, so this would be, thank goodness Tracy Walder is going around now back on News Nation like she used to. Tracy Walder is an ex-FBI agent and ex-CIA agent. She's not your Jaycoffs. She's not really like Maureen. She's her own, right? And I've been following Walder for a long time. There's some very, the lady's fucking intense. Let's just tell y'all that. This lady has been through it. CIA, you know what she helped do? She helped find bin Laden. This lady was down in the trenches, okay? And I'm not lying about that. And then she had some major stuff went down. It's public knowledge, but at a daycare where her child went, and it was she's got a book and all. So I like Tracy a lot, but so if you see her around, that's who she is. But I'm going to play this because this is shows the video where Cameron and if you think about it, so they come out with, the family came out with their video together, the siblings, encouraging the kidnapper to reach out and give us proof of life, whatever. And then he comes out again, standalone video, which is fine. You're the brother, you're a fighter pilot, support your sisters. He comes out and does the video asking for them to come and communicate, and then we get the second communication come in. Y'all know that whoever is, so if all this is legit, these kidnappers are watching all of it.
Our mother, we want to hear from you. Holding our mother, we want to hear from you. For the Guthrie family, whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
All right, we're going to go back to Tracy in a moment. I want to get right out to Liz Kreutz, who's been leading our coverage out there in Tucson. Liz, so you've seen this video. Now our viewers have seen this video. It's upsetting because it sounds like this deadline's approaching and the Guthries have not been contacted about how to make contact with.
Okay, so about the deadlines, do y'all think that there's a chance that, because remember the FBI even said in the press conference, it's really up to the families if we respond to these deadlines and with these demands, right? If that's your mom and you got a deadline, or you're not pressing the FBI to let me do something in good faith, yeah, I understand you're telling me we need proof of life, but I also need my mama. So where's a compromise? But if they're not able to communicate directly with these people, would they risk sending something to the Bitcoin address and then seeing what happens? I wouldn't touch. If you're the kidnapper, are you gonna touch that? You gonna touch that shit? Hell no. You're gonna know it's there. You're gonna know it's there, but you're not gonna touch it. And then would that prompt the kidnapper to reach out? Hey, where's the? So what happened when that deadline came and went? Right? And the kidnapper claims to have a second deadline of Monday, like the final. Did they put anything into the account yet? I don't know. We had that discussion a little bit yesterday. What would you do if it was your family member? We're going to look at other news reports too. That's why I just had that one up because I had the video of Cameron. And I just think it's interesting that once that one came out, then, we get a response from, but they don't show proof of life yet. Odd. Real happy you got mad respect for Tracy. Me too. Then you if you know, you know. Happy I should have known you would know. Yeah, I'm very partial to Tracy. There's something about her, like she appears so. I'm not saying she has an appearance. I'm saying she's a very sweet and kind individual. So it's hard for me to picture her as this big badass CIA agent undercover, right? Looking for Osama bin Laden in the fucking tunnels and trenches and whatever, the dugouts. Damn, girl. Here we think we badasses over here. We got this mama working thing down pat. These bitches is off in the CIA catching guys in holes. I don't know what Coffin Doffer was out there doing. I don't know what they assigned her to. Wow. So I'm comparing the three agents in my brain at the moment. Sorry, I went there. I got Maureen, I got Tracy, and I got Jacob. And I'm like, wow. Okay, well, we won't go there. We'll dig it up. Tracy Walder, Walder. I think she's still on X. She had a Twitter account. She used to come on News Nation. I think it was periodically, but then she was gone for a while. But I'm seeing her come back. And she has a YouTube channel, but there's not a lot of activity there. I'm hoping, right? Because I really like Tracy. Okay, let me get a screen back up here because we got some more stuff to look at. I like listening to the ones that are informative and not talking at you. You know what I'm saying? Compared to other people. And taking pictures and all in the middle of the daytime. Slide up in my car and park over here and run up in the neighbor's yard in broad ass daylight with my camera. She didn't get many secret assignments. I think she's actually a weapons instructor. So there's that. Maureen heads a security firm in the middle of Beverly Hills with incredibly wealthy clients that apparently like to get cars fingerprinted. I would love to know why, which celebrity did that, and why do they need their car fingerprinted? Who did they suspect near their car? I got questions, Maureen. Are you listening, honey? Butterfly, you know what I'm talking about, because we both caught that in that interview with Enton when she spoke about that. We're like, wait, what? You had to do what for a client? Fingerprint a car. Okay. Let me just call up my favorite security firm CEO. Ma'am, come down here. I need one of my cars fingerprinted. ASAP. Yeah, Maureen, she's got it made, all right. I'll tell you what, if I was a wealthy celebrity, um, and I paid attention to this true crime stuff, I'd be like, y'all ain't told me about this lady yet. Where's my friends? Who's running your security? I'm calling her now. I'm hiring her. I'm hiring that lady. She can fingerprint fucking cars for me. You never know when one of them crazies will come up here and try to harass me being a celebrity and all. What if a celebrity suspected a stalker had been to at least all the way to their property and touched their car? And Maureen had to finger. See, I could go with that lady. See, y'all, she done got me on a rabbit hole. All right, so the sheriff apparently reacted to the second note. Over on Arizona's Family did an interview with him today. Let me get it set up. Okay, I had to make sure I wasn't muted. I couldn't see my screen. All right, so this is a Arizona News piece that came out a little earlier. Is it not going to play right? Oh, silent.
D down here in Tucson received.
I like Brianna here. She reminds me of somebody I know. Her face, those eyes, it's just every time I look at her, I see somebody I know. But I like her reporting.
Received a second note this morning, allegedly from Nancy Guthrie's abductor or abductors, and it's obviously concerning given that we are now on day 6 of Nancy Guthrie being missing. The investigators on this case are taking this very seriously, both the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department looking into this at this hour. I want to show you the statement they just put out publicly today. Quote, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. Investigators are actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity. And just a few minutes ago, our sister station catching Sheriff Chris Nanos outside the Sheriff's Department today to ask him about this new update. Take a listen.
No, not at all. It's again given to the FBI. They've got this, and we'll let them go.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you.
So not saying much at this hour, of course, not wanting to talk more about it, but aware of it as they investigate behind the scenes. We also know the FBI really taking the lead on anything that has to do with the ransom note. There are more details that we can reveal from what we know as far as our station goes. So here is what we can tell you at this hour. This new note went to our sister station. They received it this morning. We are not releasing details out of respect for the family. We know that
Okay, she's just going to read to you from that article that I read to you earlier, KOLD. So the sheriff has got nothing to say. We just let the FBI have it and they run. Because, yeah, it's a kidnapping, sir, and you don't have much to offer. Y'all didn't even, well, maybe they didn't have the know-how to really secure a scene and keep it secured. Now, they kind of just go into the gist of what we know already. Beyond that, we're going to get into a little bit of what Harvey Levin has said lately about more about the original ransom note, and then we will check up on updates, see if Brian's got anything new. I don't know if Brian will drop a video tonight. It's, he's like a freaking busy dude, or if he'll do one in the morning. We'll see. Yeah, he's not in the loop, the sheriff, you know what I mean? He hasn't been in the loop for a while. He's kind of like their talking head almost. He was so emotional and frustrated in the beginning. In that last press conference, he went through a little bit of schooling before that press conference. They took a whole day off, remember? They prepped this dude, even down to the timeline. Get out there and stick to this. And if this and this is asked, you referred back to the FBI. So it was a very well planned, or I think I've seen too many press conferences, and watching Nervous Nelly in the previous ones compared to that one, it was obvious to me. And he's not in the loop. He knows nothing. He don't know why they haven't found her yet either. He's like, he's even said it, thrown his hands up. I don't know. I just don't know where she's at. Sir, we don't either. He did a video tonight, Butterfly, on today's updates. That's what I was wondering about. It's hard for me to look when I'm live and all that, so keep me plugged in. All right, so Harvey did something on live now from Fox News, and we're going to take a look at what he said there. Of course, grain of salt with all. If we're going to go, I'm not going at Ashley Banfield over her source. Girl, do you? If it pans out, it pans out. If not, you got to deal with the fallout, not me. Why would I hold Harvey to a different standard? Dude's got sources everywhere, apparently. I mean, how many videos a day does TMZ put out? So there's that. Take it all with a grain of salt, I say. I won't target just one when every freaking buddy's capable of doing this shit. Okay. Let me get to the right one we need. It was this one. And let me pull it to the right spot. Oh, do I have the right one? Oh, no, I don't. Maybe I don't have the one. Oh, was that in an article I had? Because I got Harvey's video that he did on TMZ. Let me see. This is supposed to be the one. Because they have a story about the guy that was arrested, Callella. Let me skim through it real quick. That's what I'm doing before I bring the screen up, because I wanted to see if this was the one that had. It's just a smaller clip of Harvey talking, but we have the TMZ thing he did to look at. So that might have been an article that I saw that. And if it is, it's in my other folder, not here. Okay, they also have the video of Cameron in this piece that I'm looking through. Okay, it's not there. All right, so let's look at Harvey's, whatever he put out on TMZ. Okay, so, and I know that. So when he's talking in that other piece I can't find at the moment, I'll have to see what I did with it. He kind of like puts an eyeball on family, ever so slightly, right? And I can't say that I don't and not haven't. Can't take it off the table yet. But I don't know if his theory about why is the same as mine, because I think his theory could lend itself to two things. So let me get it up here, and we'll talk about it. All right, get on up here. What you got to say today? All right, here we go. And let me make sure chat's flowing. Are y'all good out there? Everybody good? Sometimes I feel like I'm rambling to myself. I have to look down at chat so I can talk to people. I need to get me a guest up here, right? Butterfly, what are you doing? Okay, y'all are saying he put out a regular video. We'll go look in a minute. I'll look at the time on it and all that good stuff because I'm looking for updates. You know, and I didn't know if he did a whole video on what has transpired through the day yet. And considering he was just posting a few minutes ago on X about the tow truck situation, I don't, you know, are they shorts? Because I've seen a lot of them. We haven't reviewed what Brian's got up yet. So we'll get to that. We'll go see what he's got. Okay, so here's what Harvey had to say on his TMZ YouTube channel.
At this alleged ransom note 20 times last night, and there is something that piqued my interest from the beginning. And I believe now that there is a way of connecting the dots, and that law enforcement has an area that they are most interested in terms of where Nancy might be, if this letter is legit. And I say it.
Okay, so an area, and they're back out there searching. And I also saw a post earlier about this person possibly being in the area, and I don't know why people think that. I think Harvey talks about it too. Is it something in the letter that would prompt that thought, right? Because something has to prompt the thought. You just don't. Oh, all of a sudden, my sophisticated kidnapper is right there. What makes you think that?
For this reason, that obviously the person who took Nancy, if this is the person who wrote this ransom letter, they're demanding money. And if they get the money, they're saying they will return her. That's obvious, right? Well, in the letter, it says they would return her back to Tucson. So they also give a time frame of how
they would return her back to Tucson. That's what one of the letters he says it, because I didn't watch all of this. So that would indicate they left the area with her.
How long it would take after they received the money to return her to Tucson. So there's a time frame. Now, if you look after they received the money to return her back to Tucson. And if they get the money, they're saying they will return her. That's obvious, right? Well, in the letter, it says they would return her back to Tucson. So they also give a time frame of how long it would take after they received the money to return her to Tucson. So there's a time frame. Now, if you look at the time frame, then you say, well, you can draw a circle around Tucson to see how long maximum it would take.
Okay, I get you, Harvey. The person says we will return her to Tucson by this date time. So how long would it take them to get her back there? You can bet if this is even a sophisticated group or an individual, they have a stash house. Would make perfect sense. And the big old jet airliner waiting somewhere in the wings.
Take to get her back there. And they're not going to fly her back, because the last thing they're going to do is go to an airport where Nancy Guthrie shows ID.
No shit. God. Oh. No shit. God dang.
That's not going to happen. So clearly it would be driving. And they're not going to drive at 100 miles an hour because if they get stopped for speeding, it's over. So they're going to go at around the speed limit. So let's say that if this letter is legit, they would travel at about 60 miles an hour. So based on this time frame in the letter and the fact that she would be returned back to Tucson, here's the way it looks. If you look, this is Tucson right here. If you look at this red circle, that is the radius of the maximum amount of time it would take to get her back to Tucson, all around this circle. It incorporates California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho. It incorporates Colorado, Wyoming, a little bit of Kansas, and a little bit of Oklahoma. Now that's a big area for sure, but it is not.
Would you go to Cali or New Mexico? Mexico's off the table. It's too risky crossing that border with a lady in the trunk or in the back seat who might seem frightened. I don't know how Border Patrol operates down there at the border. I've never crossed it like that. So, Butterfly, have you seen another reporter talk about these, what might have been in these letters? And they're like not jiving with Harvey's? Like, that's what I haven't seen any other reporters talk about it. Did you see it?
The full United States. It's not the world. At least it's a defined area. And again, if the letter is legitimate, then it would seem, based on the amount of time maximum it would take to bring her back to Tucson, it's this area that I would think authorities are most interested in. And remember, they are looking for anybody who possibly has information on the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie. So there's a $50,000 reward for information leading to her return. So I would think that this area is particularly interesting to them. I want to say a couple of other things. The letter, people have been asking,
Here's the thing. The letter Harvey got, it falls in line with the ones that other stations received. The cops haven't denied it. The only thing they said different about the one TMZ received in the press conference is they were investigating it, right along with the other ones. They'd have been asked specifically about each individual. We were investigating. It's the same one the other stations got. Whoever this is knows the reach of TMZ, right? And the local affiliate. They wanted and expected that message to be passed on to the authorities. And guess what happened? As soon as it reached a local affiliate on Monday, it went straight to the police. Now, if Harvey full of shit, could be just like Ashley, just like Nancy Grace, just like all of us. I could be. I'm taking the information that he's telling, and I'm trying to see if it makes any sense. Butterfly, is that the link you just sent me to the other lady? Because we shared so much yesterday evening that I might have got lost in the shuffle. I'll check. Thank you.
Does it seem like it's written by just a crazy person? And the answer is no. This letter was very well constructed. It had structure. It had a beginning, middle, and end.
Now, this part to me is super interesting. If I'm going to believe what he received is authentic, okay? Again, I'm clocking a kidnapper, not, y'all know what, I'm just in a thought process.
It was well done. I mean, if you took this letter to an English teacher and said, give me notes on structure, on grammar, you probably would get no notes back. It's done by somebody, I believe, who is educated and really spent time. This was not something that took 5 minutes to write. This was a well-constructed letter.
Happy there's not a $50,000 demand, there's a $50,000 reward. The demand apparently is for millions in Bitcoin. They want it sent to a Bitcoin address, and there is a Bitcoin wallet set up. They've already verified. And here's the thing, you can track those wallets only so far. Here's the dark side of crypto. And I worked in Web3 for 3 years. The blockchain, the gas, I know all about all of it, okay? Once it goes through the blockchain, this is not like tracking the bank transactions of where all this money went. You can't. It's hard as hell to track crypto. That's what makes crypto dangerous a little bit. Also, the freedom. Crypto people want that freedom. They don't want the government tracking their money. Neither do the criminals. Criminals don't neither. They can literally have that money sent to any place in the world and access it from any place in the world and never physically have to walk into a building like a bank, right? Or walk up to the ATM. They can convert that Bitcoin right on over into US dollar from their apps. And the fact that they can't find this IP address yet bothers me. That should bother everybody because that's so should be simple for the FBI to find.
Letter.
Koberger was using alternate IP addresses, and they know that. It's in the documents. I have the whole entire Celebrite report, and I've read through it.
Final thing I want to say, and now this is opinion, that it is interesting to me that we got this ransom letter, but also the other two media outlets that got the ransom letters were both located in Tucson. They were television stations in Tucson. So why would somebody who wrote a letter like this know about the local stations and send to the local stations if they have no connection to Tucson? It feels like there is a connection to Tucson with the...
I don't know that you can say that because, of course, they're going to reach out to local stations. Look at the serial killers in the past who've done just that. They've reached out to the local affiliates because they know, and they know it's going to get passed on to law enforcement. It should, if they're on the up and up, right? They expect it to be. So it makes sense they would contact a local affiliate. That doesn't prove to me or make me think there's an absolute tie to Tucson, unless I got somebody on the table from the area.
Person who wrote this letter. And
who happens to be a teacher.
You know, a lot of people are saying, well, it happened because Savannah Guthrie is rich and famous, which she is. But is it that somebody looked at Savannah Guthrie and said, let's find a relative? Or is it somebody who lives in the Tucson area and either knows Nancy Guthrie or knows of her and knows her famous daughter is Savannah Guthrie, and it hatches from that? It seems to me, just based on where the letter went, that it's the latter. So the bottom line here, I know that the law enforcement has been saying they are desperate for clues, and they clearly are. But just in terms of the people who might help, I think heads up in this area.
All right, Butterfly, what you sent me, that's Harvey on an interview with what is that, the CNN chick? Is that where you see we're talking about? Okay. So, well, let's review that. I would say that there's probably a safe house nearby where they have her stashed, but I'm not willing to say they're from the Tucson area because I highly doubt it. Okay, let me get what she just sent me pulled up here. Oh, that's that chick from CNN. Okay, I haven't watched them in so long, but I know the people's faces still. Like, okay. Okay, so this is what you sent me, Butterflies. We're
tips on everything. Okay, your TMZ. So you have tips coming in all the time. So when this one came in, and as you look at it now, was there anything about how it came in or anything about it, this letter, this ransom letter, that was unusual to you?
It felt like somebody means business. I mean, when you read it, it's very detailed. This person thought through, I believe, again, if it's legit, this person thought through the markers of showing that it's real. The Bitcoin address we checked immediately, and
okay, California, thank you. I'm on
it's a real address. The FBI mentioned at the news conference today something that we had seen, where they mentioned the Apple Watch and the floodlight, and that was what really put my antenna up, and we immediately called the sheriff because that's what we could say to him, which is, you know, here are these two items. They're...
Oh, hell. We got 3 deputies just arrived at Annie Guthrie's house, according to Brian Enton. So let's let this play a minute, and I'm going to go check out his YouTube, because we were going to Brian's YouTube channel next. So we'll go see if he releases any, like a short or anything out there. So this is what he reported 2 minutes ago. Remember, 58 minutes ago, they were towing Nancy's car away. And now there's 3 deputies that arrived outside Annie Guthrie's house. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hoax much, sir?
Mentioning, does this make you interested in it? I will say this, that they do mention an Apple Watch, as the FBI said, and they do mention the floodlight, the damaged floodlight.
Now, someone close to Nancy would know those things.
There is something else, and it is the placement of the Apple Watch, which has not come out. And if that placement is accurate, I'm sure that is something that puts this letter on the FBI's radar.
Okay, so if it was beside the bed on a charger, that's specific. But whoever was in that home would know that by seeing it, right? Okay.
Oh, okay. So you're saying not just that there was an Apple Watch, which I am aware, was in that letter before any reporting, when you got the letter, before any reporting on the Apple Watch came out, right? So it wasn't as if they saw the reporting and put it in there. But you're saying it talked about.
Okay, let's come back to this in a minute, because is there something about another reporter in this guy where contradicts what Harvey said? Because I thought that's what you were. Okay, the media had reported that on Monday. What? Okay. Brian just posted 2 deputies just arrived. We were just talking about that. Let's go see what Brian's got. Anything on the YouTube? Anything on the YouTubes, sir? Y'all go over and give him some love on his channel now, because we're showing the shit out of his stuff. He doesn't strike us in all the things. Okay, let's see what Brian's got going on here. This is the one I think you guys were talking about that he did a little earlier. Hold on, let me get everything here where I can see. This is an hour ago. Okay. This is not the latest update. This is what he did a little while ago, just before dark, it looks like there. So this will be before the tow truck towed the car, because it was dark in the video on Twitter. Remember, of them towing the car? Here it's still daylight, so this is when, okay.
Really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. There has been a ton of new activity and information coming out with the Nancy Guthrie case. I used to be way down there. That's where Nancy's house is. They've actually moved us back. They closed off the entire area and set up yet another crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's house. And there's a ton of FBI that just arrived. So I'm going to get into all of that in this episode. And then, of course, the big news, there is now a second note. A second ransom note has been sent to a local TV station here in Tucson. I'm going to give you the latest details on what is in that note. And then finally in this episode, something really interesting. I went out with a former Border Patrol agent, law enforcement, knows this area so well, has lived here for 20 years, took me into the desert around Nancy's house just to show me what the terrain is like. And also, by the way, he has actually seen the first ransom note. He is just really well connected, and he's seen it, he's read it.
Well connected, and he's seen the ransom note and told you about it. Huh. Everybody throwing shade over there at Ashley Banfield for having a well-connected source. Now we got cops outside that house. Oh boy.
There's a lot he obviously didn't want to disclose, but he gave me some new insight into that note. I'm going to get into all of it in this episode of Brian Investigates. All right, guys. So again, as I was saying, there has been a lot going on here today. The biggest news, I think, is the fact that there is now a second note that has arrived. And we don't know a ton about it, but the FBI has confirmed that there's a second note. The sheriff's office has confirmed that there's a second note, and KOLD TV, which is a local TV affiliate.
Now, notice in this image here, you can see Miss Nancy's cane, and it's a decorative cane. There's a print on the cane itself. So there's, was it a cane or a walker? And I had heard and read cane, but there's proof. We see how easily Miss Nancy bruises. That happens with a lot of elderly people, especially those on blood thinners and things of that nature, which makes you also be aware that she would bleed easily, even at the slightest injury, right? So just because we saw the blood doesn't mean that Miss Nancy suffered a fatal injury, right?
Here in Tucson confirms that they received the note. Their news director has said that it came in through like a form, like, you know, when you go to a website and you can fill out a form, and then it
Ruth Ann got twin grandbabies. Holy moly. I'm sending you some vibes. You got them babies to bed? Whew. Right? You need a double whew. You got to double that up, Ruth. Ruth Ann. Aw, how old are the twin grandbabies? Man, I got 4 babies of my own and 2 grands, and I always prayed with each baby that I would not have twins because it ran in my family. Like, please, Lord, no. I don't know what I'd do with 2.
emails the company or the news agency that that's the way that it came in. And this is the new information about the second note. They say the IP address is not the same IP address as the initial note, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their IP address.
Secure server. Those data dudes are having a field day with this stuff. That's where the work is happening. Well, it's obviously a boots on the ground going at it again and again and again at this crime scene for whatever various reasons. But behind the scenes, those trying to figure out this IP address and this, all of this, that's where the work's happening. Good Lord. Imagine all that stuff they got to do to figure this out. Hey, Forrest, welcome in. You're sliding over to the tardy bench now. I didn't give you guys a lot of warning for this one, Forrest. That's my bad. I did hit you guys up and say, hey, can y'all go live in like 30 minutes? And the girls were like, yeah, we can go. And then I couldn't get Restream to work right. It's being a bitch. 20 months old. Oh, goodness. Not mobile and every little mini me's, right? Little talking little people. Little babbling little people. Aw.
The new note contains something the senders seem to think will prove to investigators that there's the same people who sent the first note. So different IP address as the first note, but the same secure server was used to hide their IP address. And there's something in.
So, okay, hold up. We'll table that for a moment.
This second note that the senders think will prove to investigators that they're the same people who sent the first note. So
something in that second note that came down today, this morning, tells them they're the same person that sent the first note. Lord. Like I said, we either got an elaborate, sophisticated group or we got a hoax to take the eyes off of me situation. If that's the case, you freaking idiot.
The FBI has confirmed that they are looking into it. And remember, ultimately, it's going to be up to Savannah Guthrie and her family how to handle these things. And the FBI has made that clear. They're the ones who decide, the Guthries, how to respond to these notes if they want to pay the ransom. Remember, the first note had 2 deadlines. The first deadline was.
So this video had to be before they came back out and secured the road and made media move from in front of the house. Or is this him down the street now?
Yesterday, so Thursday at 5 p.m., and then the second deadline is Monday. And I've been trying to understand why there could be 2 deadlines, and I still don't know the answer to that. One theory that I've been thinking about and floating around with some of my FBI friends is, like, could the first deadline be for less money and the second deadline be for more money? That's a possibility.
Some good faith money. I need good faith that my mama's alive, too. Maybe that 5 p.m. deadline was met. Cameron comes out with another video. Now communicate with us. And then boom, we got a second communication, proving we're the ones that sent the first communication. Is there really a wallet set up that they can validate? And is the hoaxer tied to the wallet? Fuck, man. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, this is earlier in the day. I think this was, yeah, but that's okay. We're going to troll the updates in just a moment because we are, for anybody just joining, um, they've, so we got the second ransom note. Um, when the news broke about that, within an hour or so, they were back on the scene, blocking off the street, moving all of the media out of the road. Get away from this house. We were, and in fact, they told them to move because they needed room to investigate. So they moved all the media down the street, blocked everything off. Then Brian reported that they had a tow truck over at Nancy's house and they towed Nancy's vehicle away. We found that out a little while ago. We saw that report on his X account. And now we're hearing there's cops at Annie's house. So that's where we're at.
But I was over at Annie Guthrie's house earlier, and they basically said that the people outside said they thought that Savannah Guthrie had actually left and Annie Guthrie had left that house and weren't there anymore, and the house was empty. So I don't know.
Ruth Ann, it makes no sense for the cops. So the the local authorities, right? The local sheriff's department, they're the ones that release the scene. And then by the time that the big guys get in town, they're like, wait a minute, well, we need to go back and do our thing, which there's no excuse for them local cops releasing that scene so quickly. I guess in their mind, we went in, we saw evidence, we collected blood samples, we did this, we did that, we took photographs, scene's done. Now we'll review the evidence we collected. And the FBI was like, well, no, this is not quite enough. I don't know. Yeah, they should have kept it secure. Because think about it, because then once it was released, we heard that there was a delivery from the Amazon, walks right up to the door. Now, do we got a shedding DNA situation? We got media like Brian and his camera people walking right up, videoing the blood. And after all that activity, walking through everything, right? Then they go back and they shut it down again. And then they go back again today and do it again. Make up your minds.
If they have found a new house where they're all staying right now, the Guthrie family. I'm not really sure. It has been like totally insane over the last couple of hours. First of all, we were outside just in our spot that we always are, and the sheriff's deputies all came in and they said, everybody has got to get out right at this moment. All the media has to leave, which hasn't happened before. Of course, they did have that second crime scene they set up, but they didn't make the media leave. This time they said, we're closing off the entire area, the whole block, and everybody has to leave. And so we had to quickly pack up.
Okay, so this is after they were told to leave. Okay, thank you, Brian, for clarifying, because I was kind of like, what the hell's going on here? We like to know. I like to know. I don't like to be blind about stuff. All right, so this was after they were told to pack up and leave. So they've apparently moved down the street from Nancy's house. And thank goodness these camera guys have expensive cameras with those really good zooms.
Our stuff and go. I took a quick video when all this was happening. Take a look. So something interesting is happening outside the house. So all of these sheriff's deputies showed up, and they are now, you see down there, they are closing off the road, and they're making all the media leave this block. So we're not going to be able to be in front of the house anymore. They said this is for investigation reasons. And so we don't know what they're about to do with the house, but they don't want the media in front of the house anymore. So basically everybody out here has been told to pack up, and she's saying they need room for their investigators.
Oh, you bet. Thanks for all your hard work. We appreciate all you do for us.
I'm sorry.
On the other side of those cones?
Yeah, see those cones right there?
She said they need room for their investigators to do what they need to do. So something is about to happen out here from an investigator.
They knew before they closed this road off, they're going to tow that car. We need room for the investigators to do. Oh yeah, they knew they was going to tow that car.
Standpoint, and we're all going to have to move. But
run, lady.
It's interesting. You know, they had the crime scene in the beginning, they took it down. They had another crime scene, they took it down, and now they are apparently going to be doing more out here. So we had to move everybody off of the road, and we had to leave. Everybody had to leave in a hurry. And as I was walking out, I looked and I could see that there were FBI vehicles arriving dark tinted windows, evidence response vans. And then when we were able to get our drone up, we could see that there were a ton of FBI in front of the house. They set up their units in front of the house, and then they were also behind the house. And I actually saw a picture of them behind the house, looking in the woods behind the house. So it's just interesting. You think about, they had the first crime scene here, and then they opened it back up. They had a second crime scene earlier this week where they put the crime scene tape up for 2 hours, opened it back up, and now here they are again. And the timing is interesting that they swarmed this area again, got everybody out, brought the FBI in right around the same time that this second note arrived at KOLD at the TV station. So the timing is really interesting. I want to show you, though, I went out with Art Del Cueto. He is a former Border Patrol agent who lives in this area. I went out with him into the brush in the area close to Nancy Guthrie's house, just to get a feel for what it's like out there with the wildlife and with just the desert. I'm not from the desert, so I just wanted to get a feel. The other thing is he also has seen the first ransom note, so I wanted to ask what he knows about that. Here is when I went out with Art. I'm not from this area, I'm from Florida, so I don't know much about the desert.
Right.
Tell me, we're right very close to where Nancy...
We don't know shit about the desert, Brian. We know the beach, but we don't know what that cactus, what? Those things will stick me if I go off in there.
Yes.
Went missing from. Show me this, like.
So we're extremely close. I want
people
people to know that we're extremely close, because I don't want them to come after you and say, "Oh, you wasn't even close."
No.
California wings, baby girl. If you want to cuss, let it roll. We don't fucking care around here. Honestly, y'all do your thing. It's a safe place to let it out. Sometimes you got to let it out, and you're safe to do that here. We'll give you that. Let it out. Don't hold it in.
We're walking distance,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We're trying to avoid all the other media.
Yes.
So we're out here to show the reality, because people don't understand how bad the terrain would be for someone to easily find a person or track somebody. With the United States Border Patrol, you're taught different tracking skills, and I think that's what helps. But this is the terrain where we're used to walking through and trafficking, trying to track traffickers of human smuggling and drug smuggling. But the way this is called a wash. A lot of people don't use that terminology, and as we walk through here, you'll see this is kind of like a trail where you know which way to walk in there. You're gonna have some broken branches in this area.
Everything is like got thorns too, huh?
Everything's got thorns, and I think the difference is people hear desert landscape, and they almost think that it's nothing but sand, and you could see so this is basically the brush. And as you walk further in, these are called...
Yeah, Happy. We went through that little timeline there of events today with all how that you noticed that too. How everything was coming down, and within an hour they're like, whoa, whoa. Exactly. Within an hour they're like, put the brakes on everything. So this guy's taking him through the brush. Now, do we think honestly that someone would track an elderly woman who needs assistance walking through this brush? I'm thinking not. It could have her whatever she was wearing, gown, house coat, whatever, could have snagged on a branch, tore a piece off, something, a thread, whatever, a slipper could have fallen off. I don't know. It's more viable to me that there was a car parked right there in the front yard of the Circle Drive, because we have the blood on the front porch, no trail leading out to the driveway. I can whatever that for a moment, but I'm still putting a car in that driveway and leaving. It's easy peasy. Am I going to track this old lady through the wood, this brush? Almost said the woods. Through the brush? Nah. Where are we going to go? If you look at the overhead of the map, it's just surrounded by houses, and you get these little open spaces like this in between the houses. So where are we going to go when we go through the bush? To somebody else's yard? No, we're not.
Well, this is the actual wash. These are the washes.
Not the brush, the wash. We're going to honor their wash.
You know, we haven't walked too far, but if you go this way, and here I will show you.
We have a large population of eastern rattlesnakes here, eastern rattlesnakes, I should say. Heavy population. Do they have rattlesnakes there? I'm sure they do. Ugh.
If it's dark out here, or even now, vehicles can go through this neighborhood and they're not going to see anybody in this area of the brush. Now, this is called the wash. When it rains, you get water through here, of course, but they're dry most of the time. So you can walk through these areas and pull up behind some of these houses.
You could drive into some of these areas.
There's some areas where you'd be able to drive. It'd be more difficult, but you could definitely drive maybe like a quad.
So you're going to drive a quad in there and park it and trek her through the wash to get to the quad. That's fucking that's too much trouble. We need a quick escape, don't we? Just put her in the car in the driveway. Nobody's looking. There's dark out here and there's no cameras. And we done smash the one that counts. That can see the car in the driveway. And would somebody have known there was no subscription and it wouldn't be retaining video? That's what, yeah, Rachel, he was just saying that. I found that interesting that it fills up with water through there when it rains. It's like a natural reservoir type thing going on there. Their ecosystem, right? That they shouldn't be building all these houses on to destroy. That's a whole other subject for me. But yeah, that's what's happening right there.
Through here, and there's a house right there. And as if we continue walking through here, I mean, you'll see there's a house there. You probably couldn't see it when we were in the brush.
I come from a place where I got condos scattered where dunes that once protected our land once stood. So I feel some type of way about stuff like that.
But you're going through all this area, and at night, somebody that would know the terrain can walk through here, and literally, you wouldn't know, okay? And as we've walked, we're probably, what 20 feet from the road, and from where we're standing, we can't see my truck anymore.
Well, and so there's a house there. There's a lot of space in between the houses. Everyone keeps asking me, oh, people have cameras, can't they see the cars going by? But this shows. Like, there's all this brush in between.
There's no way you would be able to see. With some of these cameras, you would not be able to see the street.
Yeah.
I mean, here, where we are at right now, people can be walking up and down that road, and they're not going to see us. Now, imagine this at night when it is completely dark, and there are no there's no street lights out here. There's absolutely no street lights. So that just adds to how difficult it is. And if you do have some type of ring camera and it's dark and you have this, you're really not going to get much out of a ring camera.
So what is the deal? I keep hearing about this ordinance where it has to be dark out here. What is that?
So there's an ordinance that they have in areas of Pima County and the city of Tucson against light pollution. And I think it was more to...
Thank you. Totally get it, and I live for it. I can't view the stars if there's light pollution. I can't breathe the air and enjoy the night if there's light pollution. Some people choose to live in... Can we stop blaming the people because they live in a dark neighborhood? Not everybody wants to be lit up like a Christmas tree. As long as I got some lighting around my home and protection around my home, we're good to fucking go. I got front porch and back porch light, right? Come to my door. I want it dark. I want to walk outside and be able to see a shooting star instead of going, I never see them. Yeah, because you can't, because you got all that light pollution. It's ridiculous when people talk about that surface stuff right there. She lived alone. I wouldn't let her live alone. It's so dark. How strong and independent is your parent right now? I got one. I got a strong, independent father who lives in the middle of the woods in the dark. Scary, but he's well protected.
Attract people that want to come and see the stars.
Can we stop victim blaming? See what I'm saying? Boycott Portland, Oregon. All right. Yes, we are. We have been on point with our breaking news. We are on top of those reports. Thank you. And we are on. We're showing Brian right now a video. We're going to go troll for updates again in a minute. But yes, thank you for coming in with that.
There's the university here that has an astronomy program that also helps. However, I hate
astronomy program. Imagine that. Yeah, because that light pollution sucks. Rachel says they got scorpions too. Ugh, didn't think about that. Yeah, they got the stinging, the kind that hurts you. Poison
I
you.
hate to Monday morning quarterback it, and I hate to, tell other law enforcement how to do their job. But I've been in law enforcement for over 2 decades in the state of Arizona. There is an ordinance.
So Brian reported that they towed Nancy's vehicle. Then he turned around and reported a few minutes ago that there's 3 officers have arrived at Annie's home. So there's that as well. That was the last update we got a few minutes ago. Hey, OG Feisty Cooter. Thanks for coming in.
In an area that you're working some type of crime, I find it really difficult to use an excuse of I didn't bring the lights out because there's a...
Am I supposed to say, y'all close your legs? I don't want to steal a tagline. But thanks for coming in.
Light pollution ordinance. I would have brought those lights out here, especially knowing the terrain. I would have brought the lights out here because it helps you find out what happened. If there's a criminal in the area, it's easier to...
Criminal would need light to get through the wash back to their quad that's waiting in the background. You can't bring that lady out there in the dark. She's going to trip, fall. What the hell? I'll trip and fall. Now, Elizabeth Smart's kidnapper did just that. Took her right up through all of this. She lived in Utah, of course. At the time, there wasn't a lot of houses built behind her home. Took her right up and through the woods into the darkness all night long, walking to daylight when they got back to the camp. But I don't imagine Miss Nancy being able to pull that off the way Elizabeth did.
To find him, and above all, you're working against the clock. So if you're working against the clock, the quicker you get resources out here, the better. I would never not use lights out here based on a city ordinance, especially if a crime's been committed.
So did they not use lights because of that?
So that's the thing, yeah. So the sheriff came out, he did an interview, and he said that, there's this particular area, there's that ordinance on light pollution, so that's why they didn't bring some lights out here.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
That's what happens when you're dealing with a lot of red tape sometimes, and the bureaucracy of doing the police work and everything else that comes with it. But look, I think
Brian gave an update, Butterfly, that the deputies left but didn't go inside. Did the family inside call deputies because they felt harassment from the people outside? They would have went in the home and talked to them. Okay, stand by. We'll get more.
If I'm in a leadership position with an agency and something like this occurs, I'm bringing flood lights, and I'll deal with a lawsuit later.
Did you see the ransom note?
I have.
I'm bringing floodlights and deal with a lawsuit later. So you're telling me that under emergency circumstances, you couldn't go out there at night with a bright light and search for a missing person? I call bullshit. I'm coming with my flashlight. My mama lives right here and I can't find her. Guess what's about to happen? I'm going through your wash with my big ass light. You can order a badass spotlight off the Amazon. Like you can see for a long way. Trust me.
I've seen the ransom note. I have. I'm not going to get into specifics, and I don't want to get into specifics. Specifically because from a law enforcement side, I understand why they're not releasing it, why they're not getting to specifics, and I understand the urgency, and I think this is important because I've seen the letter. I think there's an urgency where if it's legit, the captors, regardless of what's in...
Okay, so Brian's reporting 5 minutes ago that, 30 minutes ago, 3 deputies had arrived outside of Annie Guthrie's house. Hold on, guys. Okay, back. I think I lost connection for a moment. All right, so Brian, that they left and did not go inside. Well, damn. I may not be going to bed either, right? At this rate, gee whiz. Do we have an impending arrest tonight? That I don't know, Happy. I'm assuming that Brian was on the scene when they towed Nancy's vehicle because he was there with his camera guy and they did the drone video. But they must have had one of the producers, right, that he brings with him, must have been at Nancy's house. I'm sorry, at Annie's house, keep an eye on activity there. That's what I'm assuming happened. Thank you, Butterfly. I'm back up or down. Let me know, girl. Thank you. Okay. So deputies arrive and leave. Don't go inside. That's peculiar. They don't go inside. Maybe the cameras picked up somebody messing around at Annie's. Good point, Kentucky. But I feel like if the family called the law because of something like that, did they meet him at the door and have a little conversation about it and then just leave? Or were they there for something specific? Who knows? Maybe we'll get more detail.
The letter, in order to show that it's valid, they need to contact law enforcement. They need to contact the family somehow, because there needs to be specific questions that only the family would know in order to determine that they do have it, that it is valid, and that she is still alive.
And I don't want to ask you for specifics because I don't want to do anything to.
Right. That's where
I don't want. That's the last thing I would ever want
Correct.
to do. Like, what's the point in that? I want them to find Nancy, but I am curious.
Real happy. Thank you. You're a mod. I know where you're a mod at, and I appreciate you over there at GG. I feel like you're an honorary mod all of a sudden. So, thanks for being here with your knowledge as well, and helping us all. My mods do a jam up job of helping me stay updated, right? Especially when we are not live anymore. If something breaking has happened, we're sharing that information. So do you see this? Trying to get things together. So it's like today, as things were popping off, I'm like, we need to go live because we're trying to keep up with it, right? And if we miss it, it's going to be hard to catch back up.
Just based on your background, like, did you find it to feel like legit?
I think it's legit enough, but more questions should be asked of them if they're the real captors in order to verify it 100%.
Okay. And since you're from here,
probably some things. I need to find that footage of Harvey talking to live. Let me go see. Let me take this down a moment, because Harvey said something very interesting in this damn article or thing that I found. Let me go. Let me look for it real quick. And it was about Miss Nancy being aware of what was being demanded and being okay but afraid. And I'm like, what? So let me look at this website and see if I can pull it up on the Fox News or Live Now, Fox News, whatever they call themselves. That's where I saw it from at. Because I wanted to really go over that piece. Let me see if I can pull it up this way. Because he wasn't on there long, but hang on, it's being slow. Yeah, I think that he had a producer over there happy as to cover, because you can't be in two places at one time and keep, you know what I mean? So we know there were reporters stationed outside of both houses. I'm sure that a lot of the reporters there are doing the same thing. They got people set up at both locations, right? So they can get the deets. Let me try to pull this up again. It wouldn't come up. So weird. Okay. Was he on with Hannity, Kentucky? I didn't see that. Right now, this shit's acting really weird. Uh-oh. Like, I'm showing we have a super strong internet signal and everything's working, but I can't even get this article to pull up. Because he talked about a little more detail about what that note allegedly said. And I was like, what? But it gave an indication that Miss Nancy was okay. But as far as there's been no direct communication with the family or proof of life offered at this point. It appears they're only communicating with that local station. the second letter that didn't come out, I mean, the second letter that, or the second communication that came out today was only sent to that one local station, the same one who sent it to cops. All right, Butterfly, I'll check that in just a second. Let me see if it's on my, because I feel like I watched it on YouTube. Did you read that in an article? Are you talking about that same thing? Happy? Hearing that? I'm going to try to find the video where I saw it. I thought I had it saved, but I guess as usual, I always miss the one of the things I thought I had saved. That's not, we reviewed that. It should be. I don't see it. See, I thought it was in this one I had saved because it's Fox News Digital, and I literally have a thing saved from them. Maybe it's in there and I'm just missing it. We can see if I can pull it up. Because this is the one I had saved that I thought it was on. And it talks about the arrest, the guy they arrested. So we'll let it play and we'll see if it's the actual one. If not, I'll look at what Butterfly sent and try to find the article that we're talking about. Or what we're actually talking about here. Okay.
Relatives of Nancy Guthrie. According to court documents obtained by Fox 11 just yesterday, Derrick Callella is facing federal charges over allegations of reaching out to Nancy Guthrie's relatives asking about the ransom. Now, we also do have another post here from TMZ that I wanted to see if we could get up on our screen here as we were hearing from Harvey Levin, who is the founder of TMZ. He was speaking to Sean Hannity just the other night, providing new information about a ransom note his newsroom received in the case of Nancy Guthrie. And Levin outlined that while an initial Thursday deadline for the alleged ransom note had passed, a second Monday deadline is far more consequential. And you could see on your screen there just a snippet of what Levin said. I do want to read.
Okay, I guess this is where I saw it. I was thinking I saw an interview with Harvey. So what Butterfly sent me a second ago is from Fox True Crime. It says a flurry of activity. Several police vehicles, including a Pima County forensic truck, were spotted outside of Annie's home. The vehicles arrived as investigators carried out a renewed sweep of Nancy's house. Now, that's a little different than what Brian reported. He didn't report seeing all that. Just 3 cops, and then they left. But this account's reporting forensic truck and all. Huh. Okay, we'll have to review. Okay, so this is the statement from what Harvey had told them, okay? So listen, we'll let this play.
Read just a portion of it to you. It says, I will say the letter begins by saying she is safe but scared. And they go on to say she knows exactly what the demand is. They are, through us, telling the family exactly what they are demanding. They are saying that Nancy is aware of it. They are also saying that this will be their only communication and that they are done communicating and negotiating. Here's the deal, and that's it. As the clock ticks, that's one of the reasons the FBI and other authorities have gotten desperate here, because as far as we can tell, it's impossible to trace the origin of this email. I will say there are real reasons based on what's written here that I believe the person is within the radius of the Tucson area. So again, appearing on Sean Hannity's show there on Fox News just last night, sharing that information here with us. Now, we also do know that Savannah Guthrie's brother renewed the family's plea for their mother's kidnapper to contact them hours after an Arizona sheriff said investigators don't have proof Nancy Guthrie is alive, but, quote, believe she is still out there. I quickly.
Okay, so Harvey is saying that the letter alludes to that it begins by saying she is safe but scared, and they go on to say she knows exactly what the demand is. They are, through us, telling the family exactly what they are demanding, and they are saying that Nancy is aware of it. They are also saying that this will be their only communication and that they are done communicating and negotiating. So they're just responding through this media. Now, I was looking at this account, this Fox True Crime account on Twitter, and they got some photos of them taking Miss Nancy's car. Yeah. Well, is it weird? Well, if Miss Nancy is okay, like she's alive, she's safe as far as we're not harmed or injured badly or whatever, but she's scared. I I could see that. We've seen that in movies 1,000 times. I don't know. So either it's a hoax kidnapping or it's real. We don't freaking know what's going on. But now we got activity outside of Annie's house, you know? So it's crazy to try to figure out which one of these scenarios is real. Family member harmed her or a kidnapper got her? Or did somebody fake a kidnapping to take the light off of them? I'm going to pull up this X account so we can take a look at these photos that were dropped to their, they put out. It's not an account that I follow, so I'm not real familiar with them, but okay. Let me get the screen up. Oh, is it going to act right? Yeah, here it comes. All right, so they reported 31 minutes ago about this flurry of activity with the forensic truck and everything being spotted out. There's a photo of a police car outside an hour ago. This is a police escort of Miss Nancy's car as they tow it away. And then their closer image of it being towed. And that's the one that came from within the garage. Why are they towing Miss Nancy's car, right? I mean, I get it. It's part of the crime scene because she apparently Ubered to her daughters that night. And then a family member that they refused to name in the press conference drove her home. They shut that down real quick. We're just going to say it's a family member when they were specifically asked who dropped her off at the house. The daughter, the son-in-law, or both. Well, we're just not going to tell you. I get it. But sometimes y'all cause the shade to happen, not us. Okay, so this is a video. This is similar to the one that Brian is reporting, right? Of them taking her car. Okay, let's go see what Brian's got on his Twitter lately in the last few minutes. Nothing more, but they arrived and then they left and didn't go inside. Now, if they showed up with the forensic truck and all that, but the deputies did, Brian doesn't report that, so that's conflicting, right? We know for a fact the car was towed, but all that other activity mentioned, I don't know. I haven't seen any of that on Twitter, but I know what we can do. Let's say trending. It's usually trending, but it's acting crazy. It's not. Pull up the latest post or whatever. Because I don't troll the Twitter for everybody's post about it. Actually, I haven't been on Twitter. I'll see if they're on my feed. I'll see them, right, as they come through. What? Okay, here's another account posting something that I just happened to go to the feed, right? Steve Norris, it says breaking news. I'm watching live aerial footage of FBI agents now trained on a guest house on Nancy Guthrie's property. We see the guest house out there by the pool. A convoy of FBI vehicles just pulled up and pushed the media back 2 blocks. Could this case be about to break? Here's a clip of the live video. Okay, let's pull him up. Let's pull him up here on the big screen. Let me find the account here because I'm on my phone looking, so I need to go to the computer and pull it up so I can share it. Okay, here it is. All right, let me scroll through his stuff here to see where it's at on his feed, because it just, like I said, it showed up on my Twitter feed, but now I'm on his actual page trying to find it where he has it posted. Like, how come I can see it on this but not here? That's so weird. Let me do it this way. It was reported 3 hours ago on his Twitter feed. Some accounts post so much to their Twitter feeds that just something they posted recently could get pushed back so far down. It's insane. I'm like, why? What's up with that constant posting? What the hell? That has to be exhausting to try to keep up. Here we go. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay, so he reported 3 hours the live aerial footage, and then down here is this one. So they're in the back of the house. See, I could see this door here, if you guys can see that. So let me see if I can make this larger. I don't know if it'll let me. Tried. Is it gonna work this way? Hell no. Oh, Jesus, I shouldn't have messed with it. All right. Do it all over again. Where'd you go, dude? So in the images I was looking at last night, or it could have been early this morning, I'm not real sure. That back door to the left is near the guest house, and you can't really get the floor plan or the layout of the house off the internet. It's not there. But there's other things you can look at. So then I'm looking at the images and I'm noticing that door. Is that the back door left open? Because I'm going to show you there. Well, I'm not going to show you that, but I'll tell you about it. Once you enter that door, it's like a little storage room inside that house and it's nestled up against the garage. Let me go back to his damn post. Was it under you, lady? Oh, God, not that one guy. Oh, good Lord. Hang on. Let me share. Okay, my backup. It works better if I can take the screen down, then I have to find it and then put it back up. I don't know what's got everything acting all wonky tonight. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to zoom in on it, but you guys look to the left, right by the pool house, you'll see the door. Let me find the post again. Is that the same footage, Butterfly? I've got a video. I think what you sent me is what I think it's what I already had saved that we haven't looked at yet. But the image that he's talking about, did it come from that video? Because I'll just go look at that instead. All right, here's the screen. Restream's acting all wonky. Okay. We'll go look at that footage in a minute. We'll see if it's on there. All right, so this is behind the house. There's a big green space there. There's the pool and they're going in between, because you can't see the back door from that covered patio. I've yet to be able to see a shot where I can see a door. Of what type of door it was, that always interests me. But I can clearly see this other door to the left, right near that guest house. See the ladies, there's somebody walking up to that door. They're peering in the window of that door. So you're walking up like a crook. They're thinking like the thief. They're out there trying to retrace the steps. What is this guy on the left near the plants? What is he? Remember earlier when I was joking around, I'm like, did they leave something hidden in a plant to go back and find it to prove I'm real, that this is not a hoax? This lady over here, she's pointing at something, and she's on top of the building, looking down. See her? She's standing on the roof of the guest house. They're pointing back toward the house. They turn back around. You have to watch them to try to figure out what the hell they doing. She's up on that roof looking down. Now she's going to kneel over. Now she's going, what the hell? Did they think somebody climbed up there to like evaluate the home? She doesn't appear to be collecting evidence. You see what I'm saying? Kentucky's a good point. Kentucky Lucky, was somebody using Nancy's, was somebody else driving Miss Nancy, right? But using her car to do it? What kind of evidence would her car even yield them, right? All right, so that's that. Let's look at this drone footage that we do have saved and see if it shows anything. And I think it's the same one, Butterfly. When I start, let me look at the one. I think it's the same one, though. Yeah, Ruth Ann, on the roof. And that's just a clip. I don't know where that clip came from. They showed that from. What news footage? I love to look at the footage like that. Okay, let me see if, let me get this up. Because it says they were doing a follow-up investigation, drone footage. Let me see. Okay, let me get the screen back up and we'll take a look at this for a few minutes. We'll watch this unfold. And when was the, hang on. 4 hours ago, this was released by Fox News, so it should be pretty current. Uh-oh. Oh, I already have it up. Okay. So let's let that play and let me catch up on chat. There's going to be no sound, guys. It's just this video, so. "4 hours ago, drone footage of when the investigators returned." So I'm assuming this is when they blocked off the road and pushed the media back, made everybody leave, and this was taken. taken at that time. Hey Keith, welcome in. Stop. We're just reviewing drone footage right now. We're keeping up with the latest on this Nancy Guthrie disappearance. Cops have done come and towed her car out of the garage. We just caught a glimpse of it still in the garage. Once it got dark, they'd already towed the car. And then we're also hearing that a couple of cops showed back up over at Annie's house, the daughter, but left. Didn't go inside, apparently. So they received a second ransom note today, or not a ransom note, another communication from the alleged kidnapper sent back over to KOLD about 11:30. Okay, thanks, Butterfly. It is on this part. Great. So we're going to let this play while we're sitting here talking. And yeah, so they get the second communication trying to verify that they're the actual kidnappers that sent the first communication. And within an hour or so, they were back out of the scene, clearing the road, making everybody move, saying our investigators have to have room to do their work. And then by dark, they were towing Miss Nancy's vehicle. So that's where we're sitting at right now. And if you look at that overhead, there's a stone patio there that's really not like gravel until you get out to the drive. Again, there was no blood trail, but so Butterfly and I were talking about that. What if Miss Nancy apparently something happened, she was bleeding on the front porch. They've confirmed that was her blood. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's fresh blood. What would explain the lack of a trail out toward the driveway? Did she have something she put up over like if it was a bloody nose, for instance, or a busted lip, and she bleeds easily, would she put something over it to put pressure? That would stop any more blood from coming out and dripping down. That's the only thing I could come up with. Now, I've heard the allegations by some experts was she picked up and carried to the car. Absolutely a possibility. She couldn't walk well without her cane. And see, the car is still in the garage at that point. And she didn't drive her car over to dinner at we're finding out now there wasn't a restaurant involved. Nancy went to dinner at her daughter's house that night, Ubered over to her daughter's 10 minutes away. And then her son someone from the took her home at 9:48, 9:50, the garage door opens. According to records, I guess she's got a smart door there. So they must have pulled up. Now, if this is your mama, are you going to pull right up into that little area there and park where she's going to go in at, right at the garage? She opens it, she enters, and then 2 minutes later, that garage door shut. And then I assume the family member drove away. It's a very weird case. And of course, we are all aware over here on the channel that we're aware of Ashley Banfield's reporting, and she's still not backing down from her reporting one bit. And then we got activity again happening over at Annie's house. Well, we can't say never around here, can we? We can't say nah. You're just reaching. That sliding door interests me. Huh. I'm going to fast forward just some of the still stuff and see if we can get down to a little. Let me see. There's some guys in the backyard here. Okay. So nobody's went up on the roof yet. Okay, so we can see the out closer of this guest house here. There's like a gate that goes in between the guest house and the backyard. And you can see her car is still sitting in that garage. So for people who say Miss Nancy didn't have a car. There it is. Don't drove it a lot, but it's there. Remember her car, her keys, purse, phone, Apple device, medications, cane, all left in the home. If you walked up on foot and you were just going to break and enter and steal some jewelry and skip on out through the wash, but some other shit happened instead, would you steal her car to get out of there with your biggest piece of evidence, the body? I mean, I don't know. The fact that nothing was taken from that home but the victim is not a botched robbery situation by your everyday house thief. California, what kind of clues could it hold? Would it hold, right? Did someone stay in it recently? Right? Did they take on a guest and allow someone to live in it a little brief stay? I don't know. Could be. Could a housekeeper live in it? Why let it go to waste if you need somebody in daily and you could afford it? Would you give them some free room and board in your guest house? Hell, I would. Take care of my mama. Take care of my mama, but you better do it right. We'll vet you all kinds of ways. I'd probably move into the guest house, to be honest, take care of my own mama. That's just me. I've done it so many times in my family for relatives that need help at the end. I'm the girl. I go each and every time. But that's okay. So they got some trucks there with, they're getting something out of the back of the truck. A ladder. Go in with a ladder. Like those don't play when they scour a crime scene, right? And who cares if they go back 100 times? They're not looking for that minute piece of DNA on the ground. They're looking for shit that the local cops would never think to look for. Hell, once they boarded up the Idaho house and took the boards back down, here big investigators all over again. While we have the opportunity. So he's going to the edge of the garage and he leans it against the door there. This is crazy to get to watch what they're doing in like real time. You don't think Savannah's out of the clear? I don't suspect her at all of doing anything. If I'm going to suspect one of the family members, it might be the one that Ashley Banfield's talking about over there. But I don't see. Did she have a mental health breakdown and just did all this? Like, what the hell? She was set to go to the Olympics, man, for coverage. Wasn't even in town, I don't think. Yeah, there we go with the ladder. We're going toward the guest house now. I like to see other people's theories, but like legit, like people are like, if you talk about the possibility of it being a sophisticated ring of kidnappers, everybody wants to say, well, what about a robbery? What about it? Tell me how you think that happened. And I'm so ready to have that conversation. Like, I want to know what people's legit theories are out of, like I'm willing to go down that messy road of the sister and the brother-in-law just because something's weird. Something's a little weird. And Kiki's like, I got a weird feeling too. You're entitled to your weird feeling, dude. I get you. My weird feeling is toward the other sibling though. So see, that's the beauty of our conversations. I don't know what would even be their motive at this point though. You know what I mean? I don't know why either one would do it. I know why an elaborate kidnapper would do it. They want some Bitcoin. But I feel like if it was involving the family, are they sophisticated enough to hide this IP address so well? Because I can't get that out of my head. I'm never going to be able to sit that down and to find the person and tell me why it took you so long to find it. Even with all your technology and your cast and your all the things, CIA is supposed to be our Secret Service is supposed to be the best at cell phone technology. ICAC is supposed to be the best at tracing kidnappings. You just heard this other guy about the Border Patrol, the best at tracking people. They're all out there trying to track this stuff, and they can't. So do I have a stupid criminal on my hands who got lucky? Or do I got a sophisticated individual who knows exactly what they're doing? And I need to pull up that piece with Megan Kelly. I just don't know the timestamp on it, where she talks about what happened with her family. I was like, what am I hearing? Ma'am, what am I hearing? It was elaborate, guys. So if that's true, I don't have any reason to believe she's telling a fucking lie. Yeah, I can buy an elaborate kidnapping situation. Now, could somebody pull off a hoax kidnapping, hoping to keep the eyes off of me? Yeah, but are they smart enough to pull off hiding their IP address and everything? See, I'll come up with one theory in my head and I'll debunk my own damn theory. I'm like, wait a minute. Or I'll forget like an important detail that would not make that work. And one of my mods, if we're talking about it, they're like, well, wait a minute. I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot. You're right. Thanks for pointing that out because I forgot. All right, so here goes the drone scanning the area. I get the side eye of her, but I can't put a theory together that would involve her. That's what I'm not. It's not like I don't want to because of who she is. Don't no 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 not this girl. I'm just not getting a vibe, and I don't know what a motive would be. The other one, I can come up with a couple, but I'm willing to hear y'all's theories on why y'all would think that, other than just got a weird vibe. Sometimes our weird vibe is all we need. Uh-oh. What do we got here? Failure to communicate. They lost their connection. Or did I? Hang on, something funky's going on with the video on their end. I had to fast forward through. It was like this screen for the drone stuff. Yeah, I did. That's what I did, Butterfly. I fast forwarded past that part. Okay. So now there's still nobody on the rooftop yet. Um, I'm watching on my phone and the computer, and the phone is never in real time sync with the PC. So there we go. I think you guys can see the actuals again now. All right, so they're not on the rooftop yet. Messages, guys. Okay. Who clicked Ashley Banfields? I don't know. I don't. Here's the thing about them Epstein files. I'm not looking at none of that. I don't. You know why I'm not? And I'll just be honest because I don't talk about it here. I don't. I see the headlines, but here's the thing. Oh, they're up on the roof now. I feel like everything in them documents and all the people that ever knew Epstein all fucking knew what was going down. Everybody's guilty, and they're all going to point fingers and claim they were not of something. But who knew what? I don't know. They all knew something. Weirdos. but I have no clue if I didn't dig into that stuff. I don't even watch streams about that. I'm just usually scroll past it. You got two individuals on the roof looking around. What are they specifically like? They're not like, what is she doing? She's looking under the unit up there. This is so freaking interesting to me, guys. If y'all or thank y'all. I know it's getting late for some of y'all. It's 11:15 for me. So whatever time it is in your neck of the woods, thank y'all for chilling us on this. What is it? A Friday night? I had to look. Y'all know me. If you don't know me, you'll learn me. I may not know what day it is half the time. I always have to look. What day is it? What date is it? What time is it? Clocks and calendars are not my friend. I don't care for them. They're busybodies. What are they specifically like trying to figure out while they're up there? They're not up there just looking around in case they see something. They're discussing and thinking and theorizing maybe like we do. Susan. Susan who? Cara, California Wings. Now that I'm a lead investigator, I'm pretty powerful. Hell yeah. Anybody who members up is now a lead investigator. And we appreciate you, lead investigators. Um, Tomorrow, at some point, tomorrow evening, we will be doing a members only again. And of course, they'll be part of our Idaho 4 series. We're going to run for a couple hours and move through some stuff. We're not doing anything but having conversations around the case itself. We're not like digging for the real killer. We're not digging for the goods on the real killer, the guy that's in the jailhouse prison, that guy. But we're just like moving through the case and talking about different things in a very chilled, relaxed atmosphere. And this time I won't muck it up by to make it members only. My bad. So they had some lights out there over the backyard. Do we? I wonder if those were on that, or if they're just off. You only turn them on when one space right between the pool area and the guest house in that back patio. It's a nice little setup. And that back door, is that the back door that was left open? Or is it the back door at the patio? I need to know. They go back and take it. Go back and take what, hun? We need a mod appreciation member emoji. Yes. I haven't sat down and done any of that creative type stuff in a long time. I don't have a grace center or art department. It's just little old me plugging away. I'm trying to get better at stuff. Yes, we do. I do make some new emojis though. Made a few. So there's that lady. She's up there. And they're looking down. What are they evaluating? She's got. Wait, what is she doing with her hands? Is she got a camera? Is she photographing? What is she doing? She's taking print impressions. Hold on. What the hell's she doing? Stuck whatever that was on there. Did y'all see that? What is that lady doing up there? Pan back over to her, please. Okay, here she comes back with something. Is she going to give it to this? They're collecting something off that rooftop. Did the killer climb across the... Instead of coming through the gate, did they climb over... How would they get up on that thing to climb over the roof of the guest house into the backyard and through the back door? If that's what happened. The hell y'all doing on the rooftop? And what is this stuff you did on the roof, lady? Two cameras up there. On the roof here? Or is that lights? Pulling a camera, says Keith. Is that what that is? Because I can't see this as well as y'all. I am half blind. Hang on, let me make this shit bigger. Okay. Okay, I see something sticking up there. And where is this broken floodlight that Brian Enton and the rest of them keep talking about? Yeah, Keith. Well, and Ashley Banfield's reporting at least two Nest cameras were smashed and damaged. But the police say no. We don't know where that reporting came from. Sir, we can clearly see there's a missing camera at the front door. Remember, there was no subscription on the Nest that couldn't record what was happening, but it would give... that guy just went in that back door. But it would give alerts if it sensed, a person in the house or whatever it was, because they have that as part of the timeline that we moved through, that the Ring camera or the Nest camera disconnects, and then what time it picks up some movement. Now she's down here with a camera on the ground. They are super honed in on this guest house for a minute. I can't zoom in on this on the StreamYard butterfly. It's not going to let me. I blew it up on my computer screen so I could see it, but I can't enlarge it anymore. Let's drop the link to this butterfly so everybody can go back and view it. I can blow it up bigger. I'm going to watch it on my phone later, because I'm not convinced this one is even a camera. It looks like a light. This other thing, I'm not... What is she doing? Okay, now she's swabbing. She's just stuck something in something. Something in something. What in the hell is she doing? She's reaching right over the ledge, right? Right over the ledge. The unmounted took it off. Okay, that was the camera, right, guys? If that's a camera and it's not smashed or anything, why are they just now taking it? And did the perpetrator not know that it existed? We don't know who was responsible for that Kentucky as far as the subscription goes. But we discuss that here so many times in these cases. Not everybody has a subscription. So, why not? If it can record everything. What if something happens? So now she's looking down. She's handing off the stuff. He's got the device in his hand, whatever that was up there. He's laying it down there. We got to do some zooming in, screenshotting. Okay, now they're walking off with it. Interesting. See, that's still a light. That's a light. So the other thing was a camera? Holy shit. Why are they just getting that if that's true? If that's really a camera, or whatever the hell that is they just took, why now, today? This evening? Why not yesterday when they went back out there, right? So confusing. 2 cameras with solar panels. Gotcha. That little, because my son had those at the pole barn, right? We had solar lights out there, not a camera, but we had the solar lights. And then I had solar powered string lights out there as well. And my little panels would be, yeah, okay. That makes sense. See, y'all got to help me get there sometimes. I'm like thinking so hard about other shit. I miss a little thing. So that's what that is, a solar panel that operates the camera. Keith says the entire neighborhood should have been closed off weeks ago, or should have been closed off for weeks. Well, this just happened like within the last week. Has it been yet? No. Tomorrow night will be a week since Miss Nancy went missing. But yeah, they should have done a lot of things. They should have kept everybody off that property and away from the immediate road in front of it, right? To preserve any evidence. Because what if you did get a perpetrator, like a random robbery? That kid's going to get a defense attorney who's going to want to do what? Go back to the crime scene, just like Ann Taylor took her team in there multiple times to the crime scene at Idaho 4. Ann didn't play. She went back multiple times. And then she signed off on tearing the house down. She's like, oh, sure, no problem. Got all I need. Go ahead. Go ahead. No worries here. That's when I decided no worries for me either. If Brian Koberger and his attorney aren't concerned about keeping that house, I'm not either. It wasn't going to make or break the fucking case, let's be honest. So I didn't give it my energy. I was looking forward to seeing me some 3D Pharaoh scans happen, but no. No. That technology interests me. Ski, Utah. That's how Jay says it. Ski, Utah. Welcome in. We got a couple of you cooters over here tonight. Thank y'all. Thank you for coming in and chilling with us. So we're watching the investigators' their own footage earlier today. What was it? Fox News, I think, had this out. When the investigators got the second ransom communication, then they went and shut down the street, moved the media back, and went in to do some more investigating. And they end up on the rooftop taking what appears to be a camera, and they also tow away Miss Nancy's vehicle from the garage. They towed that away right after dark. And then a few, look, that cop's running down the street. A few, like, don't exert yourself, sir. A couple of cops apparently showed up outside the home of Annie Guthrie earlier, but Brian Enton reports they were only there about a half hour, didn't go inside and left. But then another X account reported a lot of cops activity there, including a forensic unit van. And we're like, that's the only place I saw it. I haven't trolled the twits in a minute for an update. I've been watching this with you guys. Yeah, how many times do we hear about messy crime scenes, and contamination? And it makes you understand why Ann Taylor went so hard about, give me all the deets on this crime, who was there, I want the log of who entered and exited. I need to know that your technicians have the proper training. All that matters, right? She's not a bad lawyer. She did her due diligence. But that's why you want to make sure it's all done on the up and up, because you got defense attorneys like that who are going to come in and I could be hey, I can be prosecution today or I could be defense. It depends. It's an inner fight with myself sometimes. I'd probably be a horrible lawyer because of that. Well, she's taking her time getting down off that roof. Is she lingering in case I got something else that they need from her? What is it about this guest house other than this light? Anything? Or a camera? Now, if it was damaged in any way or tampered with, somebody had to get up there to do it. Yeah, classic overthinker. Depending on how old her pacemaker is, they can know if she's alive or not. So that's the thing, right? It stopped reporting to her Apple Watch, but that doesn't mean it stopped reporting to the doctor's office, right? So I don't know much about the pacemakers because I don't know anybody with one. But you would hope there would be another way for them to know if something went wrong with it. And also, if it stopped, if it was communicating with the doctor's office, right? Wouldn't they know if it was not responding anymore at all? If that was the case, they would know she's not alive. We know in Bill and Peggy Stevens' case, they pinpointed Mr. Stevens' death because his pacemaker stopped. And he too wore an Apple device that connected to his device. All right, so that's them. This video is almost over with. It goes to the doctors. That's what I was thinking, because you can't just go to the app. That's for personal monitoring, right? To set it up through the app, but it will also report back to the doctor. Now, I feel like when my aunt had to have, there was something she had to have at home, and it had to have we had to monitor something, and they hooked something up to it at the doctor's office. We had to download an app to go with it. But we reported back to the doctor some of the things, right? So that's why I'm like, oh, this is a maker. It's serious, right? It should be allowed to communicate with the doctors, you would think. So that would help them to, if that's the case, let's hope it is, because that would help them determine if Miss Nancy is still alive or not. And I feel like if this is a sophisticated group that actually did take her and demanding this high amount of ransom, don't think they didn't go on the black market and get any medications that she might need once they got her in captivity. And if the reports are true that she's okay but scared, then they've taken care of some of her needs. Because the last thing you want is she's the reason you're getting the ransom. You know, did you intend to not ever produce her? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's so many things to think about. We just hope that she's still okay. Gotcha, Kentucky. That's what I'm wondering. That's how my aunt's thing was set up. You have to have a phone or Apple Watch to get the report app, and then it goes to the doctors. It doesn't go directly to the doctor. Right, okay. And then Classic Overthinker says the newer ones go directly somewhere. Cardiologist gets emails. Gotcha. We don't know when Miss Nancy got her pacemaker, right? Or anything like that, how long she's even actually had it. It could be a year, it could be 5, we don't even know. So I'm sure that as technology advances, the capabilities are different each time, so we don't know what she had. But you would hope there was some way to 24/7 monitor it, right? And if they do know that information, they're not sharing it with us, they're keeping it close to the vest. All right, so I think that's about the end of that. We're going to go and take a look and see if Enton's got anything new out before we head out for the night. I'm going to get some rest, and in the morning I got to get my everything ready for our members only live. Now, if anything breaking happens overnight with Nancy's case or in the morning, you know, when I get up and there's things, of course we'll go live and we'll chat about it and get caught up before we go do the members only live. Oh, wait. I'm not on his Twitter. I'm at. Okay, that's the one we viewed. So nothing new on Twitter that I can see. I mean, on X. We'll go look at Twitter. Butterfly, if you see anything or Rage on YouTube, you can let me know. Sometimes he'll put a short out or whatever. The dude's probably tired. I'll be like, go to bed, dude. You've done enough tonight. Brian, go get something to eat, man, and get rest. We need you back for tomorrow in case. No, that's the last thing he's reported on, is that the deputies being there. Let's see. and that'll give me a chance to scan things tonight. Okay, there is one thing we need to touch on before we go because I'm going to do this tomorrow. Actually, we probably will have a show in the morning, maybe a case update show, because we've been following the case here of Anna Kepner, and let me get this up so I can share it. We know that her stepbrother was the prime suspect. Let me get my screen going here. Let me get everything up. Okay, so this apparently happened. Was it yesterday, guys? Mods. So I started researching it the minute I saw it, and I saw some pictures and stuff. Anyway, I think because he's a minor and this is being held in Florida and this is federal at the moment. So Anna Kepner's stepbrother arrested after asphyxiation death on the cruise ship. Now, those of you who may not know a lot about the story, Anna Kepner was the 18, 19-year-old girl that was found dead in her cabin on the cruise ship, and she shared it with her stepbrother and her younger sibling. They found her under the bed, covered with life jackets. And we all knew because there was a custody hearing going on with the step siblings that because of what came out in that hearing and their documents, we all knew he was a suspect and being looked at. So anyway, we've all known that. So apparently they did formally charge him. The stepbrother, Anna Kepner, who was found asphyxiated during a family cruise vacation, was arrested this week and appeared in a Florida courthouse Friday to face a judge. Now, Florida doesn't mind charging teen adult. Got two right here locally that unalived a young woman a few months back that we covered here, and they're both being charged as adults, and these are kids. So this boy deserves the same thing. 16-year-old stepbrother was led by U.S. Marshals into a Miami federal courtroom for an appearance, but since he's a juvenile, the case was sealed. It's unclear if he has been charged in a federal complaint or indictment. After his court appearance, the stepbrother was released to the custody of a guardian, according to ABC News. November 7, Kepner's body was reportedly discovered inside the cabin she shared with her stepbrother on the cruise ship Carnival Horizon. She was allegedly asphyxiated and after someone put her in a choke hold, right? Just after her death, media reports claiming Anna's stepbrother had a strange infatuation with her. Stephen Weston, the father of Anna's ex-boyfriend, one outlet, the stepbrother climbed on top of Anna's bed at a single occasion. Remember, we heard from that boyfriend who said he was FaceTiming with Anna, and she fell asleep, but he was still on the FaceTime with her. And the stepbrother allegedly walks in the room, doesn't realize the boyfriend can see everything, and he climbed on top of her. Now, I feel like I had something saved that showed photos because we also learned that when he came out of the courthouse from the court hearing, he walked into another building, and that building allegedly is where you go for probation and pretrial release. So it feels like he got released on pretrial terms, and he had to go over there to do his check-in before they let him go home. We don't know who the guardian is. We do know that after the cruise ship returned and the family, got off the ship, he didn't go home with his mother or father. He went to a family member's home. So that's what we know, that he's been arrested and formally charged, and they've had a secret sealed court hearing because he's a minor. So I'm going to see if we can find out anything about that. I'm probably going to not a whole lot because of the fact that he's a minor. But like I said, I got two minors sitting here being charged as an adult. Florida don't mind doing it. They've been doing it for years, decades even. So I don't know how this will play out with that guy. But we'll get to that and figure out the coverage on that. All right, guys, well, it's getting late. I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Hopefully this internet will straighten its foolish self out by tomorrow because I got a couple things. We got shits to do tomorrow. We want to make it flow. Make it flow. Brian Enton, we appreciate you and all your coverage, sir. Um, keeping us in real time updated, right? That's how and we like to pull the facts, and try to figure out what's fact and what's fiction and move through it, and even discussing it. We're fine with that. Um, and I thank all y'all for coming in the chat and being part of the conversation. Y'all know I live for that. I love to see y'all as part of the conversation and what y'all think and what you're thinking about these cases. And the thing about community is we all can pull from our own experiences and share, like your knowledge on the pacemakers, even, all the different things that we can pull from and help each other unpack. That's what this community is about. All right, guys, I don't know if the outro is going to work. The intro would not work. We didn't even get one. No music tonight. So I don't think it's going to let me do it. Hopefully, it will let me end the stream successfully. So you guys go have a good night. We're not going to do an outro. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Keep your notifications on so you'll know when I'm going live.